Okay, we are live with episode 6 now. It's been a long time since we recorded one, and we don't have a special guest today, but we have the old crew back. Everybody's here, so I guess we'll start with Jack.
The boys are back in town.
You did that on the last episode, by the way.
Did I do that?
I think so. I put it in the comment section. It's fine. I mean, it's true. It's true.
You write some new references, Jack. Jesus.
And Daniel is here.
Oh, hi.
Didn't do that in the last episode. I know that much.
Yeah, somebody's got some creativity.
So he's got some creativity. For today we kind of want to take a look at some of these studies that recently came out. I think there were two big ones: the Cambridge study, which is kind of all over Reboot Nation and YBR, and then there was a study that was done by German researchers that we just dug up on YBOB. And they're pretty important studies. I know, Jack, you took a look at the Cambridge study, and you even annotated it, right?
I did. I used that bachelor's degree that I've got to zoom in and check out this study and see what it was all about.
Dude, yeah. I could use my bachelor's degree now.
Oh, yeah. Just whip it out, dude. Just whip it out. Use it all over that study.
Story of my life. Just whip it out.
Whip it out and just plonk it on the desk. Just slap it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
4-year degree, yeah. So what did you think about it? What were the big pullaways?
The Cambridge study, the big takeaways out of that study was they took a group of men, it was exclusively men, with problems with porn. They reported, they called it compulsive sexual behavior in the study, right. But it was porn addiction. So they had porn addicts and they had healthy volunteers, and they gave them, they put them in an MRI machine and fed them cues. Some of them were porn cues, some of them were just pictures of landscapes to serve as a control. And what they found was that the porn addicts' brains lit up in several key regions that had been implicated before when drug addicts, substance addicts, were shown cues of their substance. This is alcoholics, this is opiate addicts, this is nicotine addicts, and this is cocaine addicts. These same areas of the brain light up when they're given their drug cues. That was takeaway one, that porn addicts' brains seem to respond in a way that mirrors the brains of substance addicts, which is crazy.
That's great. Unsurprising, but really cool that they actually got a study out on that.
Yeah, we have some data to back up what we experience.
Exactly.
And the second takeaway was the entire time that they were showing these groups these cues, pornographic and otherwise, they were asking the subjects for feedback. Two different kinds of feedback. One, how much do you like this material, this cue, this video? How much do you like it? And the second one was rate the level of your sexual desire. How much is this aggravating your want, your desire? And what they found was that the porn addicts reported higher levels of desire than the healthy volunteers, but they didn't actually like the porn any more than the healthy volunteers. So the porn addicts have these elevated levels of desire. They crave, they have greater wanting, but they don't actually appreciate the porn any more than a healthy volunteer. And what the researchers are saying is this aberrant wanting, this dissociation between wanting and liking is a hallmark of any kind of substance addiction. So strong evidence, the researchers say, that you can view this as an addiction in the same line as in the same line as a substance addiction.
Mm-hmm. And knowing this, it's kind of because they didn't really touch on anything sexual dysfunction related, did they?
They did not. They had. Well, let me see what we got here. They noted that their porn addict subjects had greater depression and anxiety scores. They kind of cross-examined, or not cross-examined, but characterized all their subjects before the study.
Oh, interesting.
And they found that their porn addict subjects scored higher on ratings of depression and anxiety than the healthy volunteers. But as far as I can see from my notes, they didn't take any readings of. Oh wait, here we go. CSB subjects, CSB being compulsive sexual behavior, which is their term for the porn addicts.
Yeah.
CSB subjects had greater internet use relative to healthy volunteers and significantly more difficulty with sexual arousal and experienced more erectile difficulties in intimate relationships, but not to sexually explicit material.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So they did actually take a measurement of that, but it wasn't the cornerstone or the main point of the study, I suppose.
Yeah.
But they did actually take a reading.
Interesting. How many people were there? 19 subjects or something like that?
It was 19.
19, yeah.
19 compulsive or addicts, you could say.
CSB subjects.
CSB subjects. And I believe roughly the same amount of healthy volunteers.
Yeah. And then on top of this, so this was cool because this highlighted that it is addictive and addictive in a similar way as drugs. There's also a German study that came out to JAMA Psychiatry, I think it is. Let me see if I can find it. Daniel, do you have anything to say about it? The last one?
The last one?
Yeah, or the one we just talked about, the Cambridge study.
It's just confirming what we already know, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hopefully
a little bit of hard data to back up what we've
good to have.
been thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's good to have. Not that any of us doubted it, but like for the millions out there who think, oh, it's not a real thing or whatever,
right.
It's nice to know.
Well, it is. It's very validating to see that these things that we experience, it's been anecdotal evidence that we've all been passing around and sharing with each other, which, anecdotal evidence is fine, but sometimes it can lead to, you can get sort of a crowd mentality, sort of a group bias. People will report things just because they've heard other people report them. So seeing this come out so consistently and so point for point in the hard data is actually, I'm surprised that it works out. So far it's been nothing but confirmation of porn addiction as a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's go ahead.
Oh man, I especially the disconnect between the wanting and the liking. That was for me. These last couple weeks or days. I mean, that's actually had practical application in my life.
Yeah,
because when you realize that the wanting is actually empirically greater than the liking, it's helped me deal with cravings, because when I get hit by a craving, then I'm able to look at it and say, wow, okay, this is as intense as it gets.
Yeah.
My desire, my wanting is out of control. So I may have a craving and it may be intense, but if I give in and I actually go and find some porn, I can know that I'm not really gonna like it. It's just the wanting that's as intense as it gets.
Yeah,
absolutely. You're so right. It's not. Yeah. I've had that kind of sort of same kind of feeling recently.
Yeah.
Just that you
knowing
just
that you can actually sit with it,
Yeah, it doesn't bother you. It's like, meh. This is as bad as it's gonna get.
If this is as bad as it's gonna get, then fine, whatever.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is too. The study kind of points to that this is sort of beyond habituation, which I think is what a lot of naysayers say. Like, oh, it's just like a habit. They kind of do
like a
temporary effect,
addiction.
sort of. Yeah,
right.
But habituation doesn't involve like the brain changes that we associate with drug use. Nobody would say a heroin addict is just is driven by habit.
He's got in the, yeah, he's really worked himself into a habit of shooting.
What a bad habit. It's like he's biting his nails or something. That's a bad habit.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, he needs to stop injecting heroin into his eyeballs. It's just a really bad habit.
Should really kick that habit. Yeah.
Before breakfast every day, he's on it with the heroin. And
he's been doing it so long that it's a habit.
Okay, so on the same note as this Cambridge study, like I was saying before, I just pulled up the article so I can talk about it now. There was a study released by the JAMA Psychiatry Journal.
Is this a German study?
This is the German one, yeah. That studied brain structure and functional connectivity associated with pornography consumption.
Right.
And so this is the first brain scan study published on porn users. And it's published in a really well-known, like a very well-accepted and well-known journal. And so the researchers found some different things that happened in the brain that were correlated with how much somebody used porn. So it was pretty interesting. And so the big thing they found was the more porn the subjects used, the less gray matter that they had. And that's extremely telling that they found something
less gray
like
matter
this.
In the striatum, right?
The striatum, yeah. And the striatum is like a complex set of structures. So
it's got the reward center in there.
It does have the reward center in there, yeah. And just kind of what that basically means is less gray matter in the striatum means there's less reward activity and a decline in dopamine signaling. I got that straight from YBR. Shout out to Gary Wilson.
Thanks for all you do, Gary. If you're listening to the show,
yeah.
You changed my life, son.
Thank you, Gary.
And so that was the big first finding. Second finding they had is that there's a connection between the striatum and the prefrontal cortex, and that worsens with increased porn watching. So that connection worsens, which may indicate hypofrontality, which is a big feature of addiction. And then one of the final findings that you can pull away from the study is the more porn you used, the less reward activation when viewing sexual images, which is really interesting. It's like full-blown desensitization.
Right, that's the definition of desensitization.
Desensitization. That is a hard word.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's too early.
Heaviest porn. Yeah, I know. 1 p.m. God. The heaviest porn users had less response to sexual images, thus less sexual desire. So, yeah, that's crazy. And all this on top, I couldn't find this damn study, so maybe I'm talking straight out of my ass, but I think for the first time they just did an erectile dysfunction study where the young age bracket, I think it was something like 18 to 26 or something like that, it was the highest in erectile dysfunction rates of all the age brackets.
The youngest one. What was the lower bound for that age group?
I think I'm not for sure. I know it was the highest. I think it was like 18 to 26 or something like that.
Yeah. And they had the highest scores for
erectile
dysfunction?
Yeah. I remember seeing that and just being like, is this a joke? Not by a lot,
but they're up there.
The fact that they're up there is ridiculous.
Do you recall, was it relatively constant? The rate, that is, between age groups? Or was it like the young people
28%.
And then really?
Yeah. I don't remember if it was relatively constant.
It would be interesting to see if it was like young people, it's a bunch of them. And then the people in their 30s, they're doing okay, and then it slopes back upward as you go older.
Yeah, I mean...
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess it's not really that surprise. I mean, like, it just... Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about it. It's just kind of... It's interesting that it would be even close to people that are senior citizens. For like 18 to 26-year-old men who are supposedly in the prime of their sexuality.
Supposedly.
Unless you watch porn for 10 years.
Yeah, well, welcome to the 21st century, baby.
Baby.
That's what made us shit ourselves so much, though. Like, when we first found out that we didn't have, like, our dicks didn't work, we were like, what the fuck? This is supposed to happen to old men? And all of us here just shitting ourselves, like, on our own for, like, 3, maybe, like, for me, it was 6 years before I realized. I don't know how, like, about you guys, but, like, I was like, fuck, there's just something really wrong with me. Like, I'm just fucked. And, like,
Yeah.
I'm the only one. And then you find YBR, and you're like, yes, okay, this is it.
Well, dude, no, I was
like,
just... Keep going, yeah, sorry. I was going to interject. I was just talking to Jack about this, though. I was like, I found YBOP like a year and a half probably before I quit. And I remember looking at it, and I was just like so in denial about it. I was just like, yeah, you know what, I'll just quit porn like a couple weeks before I want to have sex. It won't be a big deal. It's not a big thing. And I was just so like tuned out from it. I mean, it was even out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works. But
what was that? Oh man, what was it that Gandhi said? First they laugh at you, and then they fight you, and then you win. I'm interested to see how going forward this kind of information disseminates, to use an appropriate term, into the public. Because I think it's interesting the way that this kind of movement, this reaction against porn, it seems to me that it's starting to enter the mainstream, or at least enter the public consciousness. And I've been fascinated by the response.
Me too.
You know, there are people who are outright hostile and very much in defense of, hey man, it's natural.
Yeah.
You know, something that's existed since 1998 is natural.
Yeah, man. Porn is natural, bro. Like, everyone watches people getting fucked up the ass by tentacles. It's normal.
Yeah, since the dawn of time.
Yeah, it's totally natural, man.
Totally, yeah. Our great-grandmothers and grandfathers were into it. I mean, come on.
How do you think you came to be, man?
Tentacle porn. That's how.
That's how. You think you would even exist if your parents didn't have tentacle porn to fall back on?
I know, right? How do you think your dad got a boner? Yeah, I mean,
deal with that mental image, kids.
Well, you kind of look at the naysayers though, and like, because there are a lot of naysayers. I don't know if you guys saw that Gabe Deem was on Katie Couric's show. They did I don't know if it was 30 or 60-minute segment or whatever, but it was just like a segment on porn addiction. They brought this guy, this like probably the number one naysayer, David Lay, into it, who is just like a lot of his work was on porn and sex addiction before really high-speed internet porn was like making a big wave. So he's kind of like really upstream on all this. He's, you know what I mean? He has like 3 or 2 books out. I don't really know. And so now he's kind of this phenomenon happened. I feel like he's kind of trying to stay afloat with it. But it's kind of interesting it's kind of an interesting sort of scientific movement, I think, to see like old thought versus new thought, and it's just kind of like an age-old thing, I feel like, and it's just it's bound to take over eventually.
Well, yeah, the evidence so far, the evidence seems to point one way. Yeah. And now maybe I'm just not looking at all the evidence. Maybe I'm looking at some biased sources, but so far, all the evidence that I've seen, it seems to point in one direction. And it's interesting because it's a direction that jives with what we've been seeing anecdotally.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
There's going to be a very, very, I think very, very soon there's going to be, well, very soon will come the time when people can no longer defend their stance on there's no such thing as pornography addiction, because there is, quite clearly.
Yeah.
Quite clearly.
It would certainly seem that way.
Yeah. Positive stuff.
Yeah, you just kind of hope that it doesn't take too long for this sort of stuff to start trending.
Well, I mean, at the same time, however long it takes, you, me, I mean, anybody who's listening to this show, we're already, I mean, we got everything we need to make our recovery.
Absolutely. But I think about the people who don't have it.
Right, and I feel like, yeah, it would be nice, especially for really young kids. You know, a kid who's like 10 years old and he just got a smartphone. You would hope that somebody would get word to that guy.
Exactly.
You know?
I could have really
save him so much heartache.
Yep. I could have really used this information when I was 13 years old. I really could have. At least somebody just told me about it.
I've had that thought so often. Like, if I could go back in time 10 years and I can only tell myself one thing, I'm pretty sure that I would tell young Jack, I would say, hey, man, porn, it's bad for you. It's, like, super bad for you.
Absolutely.
It's, like, worse. It's worse than chocolate every day. So just knock that shit off. Go hang out with people. All right?
Do it.
Good talk. I'm going back to the future.
All right, buddy. And you know, there's no telling if like we would have stopped actually looking at porn, but at least we would have had that seed implanted in our brain. Right. Like, because I had no idea. The only issue that I really knew of, like regarding pornography when I was young, was morality issues. Right. Like, which are good reasons, but like, I didn't know that this would happen. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, it's difficult to sort of plumb the psychology of yourself in the past, but at the same time, I get a sense that the entire time I may not have known, I may have been ignorant about porn addiction and that it could be addictive, but at the same time, I think that the only reason that I'm here now and that I was open to the idea was that the whole time I knew that I probably wasn't doing myself any favors, that I was maybe fucking myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was just like obviously I had depression before I started, so that was kind of like the way to get out of the depression and to not feel the depression. But I think I pretty much knew, like subconsciously, that I was doing myself harm. I think I just didn't care, so I carried on. It's like you do know. I think like really deep down, you do sort of know that this probably isn't very good for you.
Yeah.
Like you bury it so far down.
Right. At its very best, it's probably benign.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone else at school is like, oh yeah, no, did you watch that porn or whatever? And they're sending you on their phones and shit, and like, you know, you just think it must be fine because if everyone else is doing it.
Exactly. I remember I was talking about this story last night to my roommate. I remember being 8 years old and seeing like my first porn mag, right? I went over to a friend's house. His dad somehow got like a subscription to Penthouse or something. I don't even remember. I remember seeing it and like just being like totally blown away. I'm like, this is awesome. And I had a boner the whole time when I was looking at it. I walked home, had a boner the whole time walking home. Walked into my kitchen. My dad made me pancakes, and I still had a boner. Like I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Nice pancakes, Dad.
Yeah, like these are delicious. But I was like, that was incredible when I fucking saw, and like,
yeah.
And I remember being blown away by it then. And then High Speed came out, and I was the internet was out, and I was so intrigued with the idea of looking at pornography on that, like a video. This is crazy.
That was probably back during like the dial-up days.
It probably was. I was like in 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that.
And I mean, how easily were we sucked in? So easily, even when it was And now, shit, dude, it's so much more potent. It's even more potent.
It's ubiquitous as well.
Yeah, you've got it in your pocket if you want it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember being so aroused when I was that young, and still so aroused when I was really young. And I remember by the time I was 15, so still pretty young. I like looked at. I was looking at tons of porn the last 5 years, and then I remember at one point noticing that I don't get erections to the image of a naked woman anymore. Not even in the slightest. And I remember thinking that. I'm like, this is weird. But I'm just growing up. It's not a big deal. I'm just a man.
Right.
Just kind of wrote it off. Oh, was I wrong?
Yeah. It's weird how easily you can write off desensitization. And I think that that's something that we can all sympathize with was there quickly came a point when a girl in a bikini or a naked girl or whatever, it just wasn't exciting anymore. And even, I mean, I'm sure that once again, it's difficult to plumb my own psychology, but I'm sure that I thought, even along terms of, okay, I've just seen so much porn that it's not a big deal, but I wasn't able to make the logical jump to saying, oh, that's desensitization. just like drug addictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's human, you know, at that point, it was like, it's human sexuality. Like, this is not
Right.
heroin.
Exactly.
And it felt so different.
You can't make that connection. It's a lot more difficult to make that connection. But that's what that's what these studies are pointing towards, is that it's actually pretty easy to make that connection.
It is really not about injecting foreign substances into the brain or anything that defines what an addiction is. Like, I think the thing that porn addiction is really going to throw to the forefront of psychology and science is that behaviors are physically addictive, hands down.
Right.
Sex addiction, people who have obesity and compulsively eat, like, it's not a matter of what necessarily it being like a drug or some sort of like foreign agent into your body. It's like it's what's going on in your brain that makes an addiction. So
yeah, and that's all you do. That's all that people use drugs for anyway.
Yeah,
it's just. I mean, it's not the drugs themselves that are getting you high or whatever. It's the way the drugs interact with your brain. I mean, you're not getting high on coke. The coke's just telling your brain, "Hey, release all the dopamine."
Exactly. Yep.
And you can have the same sort of response if you're looking at fatty foods, or if you're looking at porn.
Exactly.
You can still radically alter your brain chemistry in that way, and chronically that can alter your brain's makeup. It can alter the amount of gray matter that you have.
Yeah. The interesting thing is too. This is something that these studies can't really, or didn't really investigate as much. I think they will be able to investigate it, but they kind of looked at the same mechanisms and drew analogies between drug addiction and porn addiction, which I think there are plenty of. But porn addiction also affects the sexual center of your brain, which drug addiction does not do. And so it's going to be interesting to see what features are unique to porn addiction when this heavy research starts coming out. Because, why do we lose Morningwood for so long?
Right.
Why are we on because those are things unique to pornography addiction. So I think there's going to be once research starts coming out, there's going to be a lot of interesting things we find out about human sexuality through it.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you guys, just out of interest, did you guys find that as kids you were quite sexually aware or sexually curious even as children? Because
you mean pre-puberty?
Yeah. I used to get horny when I was a kid over girls that I fancied. I used to I don't remember a time when I didn't used to get boners over girls. I always fancied girls, and people would be like, "Oh, that's disgusting. Girls are disgusting," and I'd just pretend I thought the same, but I never did. I always thought girls were fucking hot and amazing.
I was always that way.
Great.
Yeah.
100%, seriously, I was 100% that way. I remember when people thought girls were super gross, and I was holding their hand in preschool and stuff like that, trying to hold girls' hands.
All right, more for me.
Yeah.
But I wonder whether there's a correlation. I'm sure there must be some kind of correlation between sort of guys that get curious early on and guys who don't. Because some people report to not have ever really had any sexual feelings until puberty, whereas we did, and a lot of people I've spoken to who have sort of said to me, "Yeah, I think I have a problem with porn." It turns out when I've asked them, they've said, "Yeah, I was interested in girls really, really early on, actually," and it seems to be kind of running thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, that is actually really interesting. I definitely was. Just throw it out there.
Just wired to just fuck.
Yeah. Just to,
right.
It was interesting. Not even just to fuck. I just wanted to be around girls, hold a girl's hand.
Yeah.
I had no. When I saw that first porn magazine at 8, I was like, "What the fuck am I looking at?"
I know.
But it turned me on. But I'm I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just wanted to be close to girls before that. But
that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I remember it very well. My mate showed me something on his phone, a really, really granulated sort of pixelated picture of some tits or something. On I think it was on his phone, or was it on? It was a magazine, and I remember thinking it was twice, and it was always the same guy. I remember him very well, and he was so into it, and it just I was like, what?
I know.
I wanted to see more and more. Straight away, I always wanted to turn see the next one, and already I was only 8, and I was already I want to see the next picture. Where's the next picture? I want some more boobs.
Exactly. No, seriously though, I think about that too. I was obsessed after I saw that.
I remember
the kid that I saw I went to the kid's house and he showed me his magazine, and I remember I hated that kid, but I wanted to go back there to see that magazine or a different magazine. I would like do anything to go back there, and that was at 8 years old. Obviously, we're not like addicted or anything. We're just like curious kids with a little bit of like arousal at that point after you see one porn magazine. But like, it's so easy to see that escalating, you know? Like
exactly, and it's just so it's just incredible. But like it's always going to be that men are attracted to pictures of women. So that's the other thing is that if I see a picture of a woman and like she's attractive and I'm tempted to click on her, it doesn't mean that I'm a porn addict and like I've just failed myself. Like, no, I'm always going to find a picture of like a woman with her tits out attractive. It doesn't mean that I've like failed in life or failed in my recovery at all. It's just like, so there's another thing. I just kind of, this is probably quite detached from what we're talking about, but like just something I realized the other day is like, yes, if I see a picture of a girl in a bikini or whatever, I might want to click on it. Like, it's all that urge is always going to be there, no matter who you are, no matter if you're addicted or not. Like, it's always going to be something because we're wired to like girls or men or whatever we're into, but we're wired for sexuality, so it's natural in that sense. But to watch obviously high-speed internet porn is not.
Absolutely not.
To have that curiosity is natural.
Yeah. But I remember one of the first, when I was just getting on high-speed internet porn, I remember the first website that I ever went to was, I don't know if you guys heard it, but it was like this shitty old-school porn website called like Juicy Clips or something like that.
What a good name for an old-school porn website.
It was the worst, though. You want to talk about like a fucked up dopamine high? Like, this was awful. Because the nature of the website, the guy didn't have access to like full video, so he would put 90-second clips up that you could hover. You remember that? And you could hover your mouse over it and see 90 seconds of it.
But I literally remember a website, I can't remember what it might have been called, like 89.com or something.
Okay.
And it had a simple thing, just had like a new clip every day, and you could watch like 90-second clips, and I was like obsessed with it.
It was, you didn't even have to click on it. You just hovered your fucking mouse over the preview button. And, like, I remember looking back at it, I'm like, that is horrible. That's, like, one of the worst dopamine things you can do for yourself. You want, like, novelty. Oh, my God, next one, novelty. Oh, fuck, the next one. I was like, oh, God, what did I do to myself?
Literally, what the fuck did we do?
I know, God.
If only we'd known.
Yeah, if only I had known. If only I had known. But... oh, well.
Save it for your kids. Your eventual kids.
Yeah.
Now that you got your issues all sorted, maybe you'll have some.
Yeah. That's a long ways away.
Yeah. Well, you'd think. One hopes.
Yeah.
Certainly, how's it going with you guys?
I need a vasectomy.
Recovery and everything.
Recovery and everything? It's going pretty good. I'm still trying to lay off the orgasms a little bit.
How are you finding that?
It's going a little bit harder than I expected to, no pun intended.
So would you say that it's going softer than you expected?
Yeah, I could say something like that. No, I could usually get it up to have sex like once a week still. And it gets hard after I have that orgasm. It gets hard for the next 4 or 5 days. Not hard. Harder to get an erection after 4 or 5 days. But,
more difficult?
More difficult. That's a better way to put it. But so it's just like kind of this weird refraction time. And sometimes I just feel like I need those big, long, no orgasm streaks. That did so much good for me. But it's really hard when you have a partner in the mix.
Right. How does she take it?
She's cool with it. I mean, most of the time it's my fault. I'm the one who, determines that I want to have an orgasm, and I just kind of go for it. But Jesus, man. Daniel's scrunching his face. You literally look like Yoda for a second.
You're like a Klingon, man. Look.
I know. Oh, a Klingon, yes. Oh, yes.
If only you could see this, ladies and gentlemen at home.
I know.
You'll just have to upgrade. Send us $20 a piece. Video package.
Right here.
Yeah,
right. Anyway, continue.
You can only imagine the antics and the hijinks that ensue when we get together.
All three of us also look like Brad Pitt, So if you want to see that, please pay us
I look
$20
like the
a
love
month.
child of Brad Pitt and Ryan Gosling. Because I am.
That's a
It
beautiful
was created
love
by
child.
science in Hollywood.
In Hollywood. I was born in an incubator. That's why I became a porn
Born
addict.
in a tube, and they gave me pornography and tube juice.
I was instantly sexual from...
That made me the man that I am today.
Yeah.
From the age of one day.
Yeah.
Christ.
They released me, and I ran naked into the woods where I killed a bear and wore its skin, and now here I am.
And here I am. And I jerked off to porn. Next
Yeah.
to the dead bear. Not
I
to
did.
make it weird, but
Yeah. Sorry if that's a little weird for you, but that's just who I am.
just a fact. But
Anyway, so it is quite hard still to kind of keep off the orgasm. I know exactly how you feel because I have the same thing with Selena. Although I think I improved from a bit of orgasm because I think also it does depend on definitely on how, I don't know how early you started. I guess, I mean, you started really young, didn't you? I can't remember.
extremely young, yeah. I was probably
you
on
were like-
high-speed internet porn at 10 years old.
Exactly. So I didn't start till
Terrible.
kind of 13. Well, watching at 13, masturbating to it at 15. So I recovered. I've definitely recovered. Like my ED is recovered. Like I can get it up for sex. Like maybe my morning woods aren't as like always. I don't really always get it.
You do
I
get it
most.
though?
Huh?
You get it most mornings?
I don't know. I never really like concentrate on whether I've got it or not. I always I'm so sleepy. I never really realize when I wake up. Like, I guess I don't always get it, to be honest. But I don't know. I can get it off for sex, so who gives a fuck? But
Yeah,
exactly.
like that's the only time when you need it.
Yeah.
But like, I guess there's still a little bit to go there. So I should probably stop masturbating without porn. Like, I've started doing that, like maybe like occasionally, like once a week,
Yeah.
like without porn. It seems to be fine, but I don't really like it. It's just because I was so used to kind of having regular orgasms with Selena that I then kind of coming off the regular orgasm sort of thing. It's just that's harder. It's so
Yeah.
hard to like go from having regular orgasms to not, and then to resist the urge to masturbate is so difficult, I find.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for you, it's like the case is that like she's always there, and is always gonna want to like come. So I don't know, maybe just like don't worry about it and just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, keep going how you are, and then I think it will sort itself out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really slow, long process. I don't know if you guys just saw on Reddit, NoFap, a guy just came in with a 2-year recovery. Pretty awesome story. He didn't PMO once, and
He didn't PMO once in 2 years.
not once in 2 years, and it was only around like month 25 and 26 he got his erections back, and his porn
What
history
the
was
hell?
like decently less severe than mine, pretty less severe. So I saw that and I'm like, okay, I feel a little less bad about this right now. It's going to become it sounds depressing because I don't really want it to sound depressing, but for a lot of guys, I think it's like if you want to define recovery as getting normal erections back, it's probably going to take 2 to 3 years for a lot of us guys who masturbated to a ton of porn at an early age. And don't worry about that because there's so many benefits along the way. Your life will change along the way, really. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a long road, but the difference between who you were and who you could become is so drastic that, hell, man, just get started.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
On the plus side as well, I think that you can like, I don't know. I mean, I'm different. I think I started a little bit later than you guys, but if you did start watching maybe 14, 15, I think it could be quicker.
It's different for everybody, that's for sure. This guy was 27. He didn't start watching until he was like, I don't remember. I remember just noting that, like, oh wow, my porn history was way worse than his.
Right.
So, and that took 2 years. I've seen some older guys too who are taking close to 2 years, just depending on what they did. I don't know. I guess it's just different for everybody. Everybody reacts differently.
I'm sure we'll find out like one day, like exactly the sort of things that you can do that pinpoint, and they'll be able to pinpoint exactly what doing that particular thing with those variables does to your brain. I'm sure they'll be able to do like a few years' time. It's just the research isn't out yet.
Yeah.
But the research has begun.
It has, yeah. It should be really interesting. I'm really interested to see. I already said it before. Just the way it affects the sexuality part of your brain.
Yeah,
Because
and just like
human sexuality comes from this thing called the hypothalamus. You guys probably know about it, and it controls like a ton of other different things in your body, like your appetite.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most primal things in the brain.
Yeah.
So you see sexuality linked to things like the hypothalamus, which is ancient. It's deep in there.
Yeah.
The amygdala, which is also deep in there. These are all the basic structures, the inner brain structures, because we needed to fuck long before we needed to do calculus.
Oh,
best lines you've ever said.
Oh my god. Oh, right. That's so good. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna pull up a Google document.
But what was I even saying?
Yeah, keep going, man. I love how quiet you are. You haven't said a damn thing. Is Jack even there?
I hope so.
But
keep going like that. Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
No, actually, what were you fucking talking about? Completely forgot.
Hypothalamus.
Totally.
Brain structures, ancient.
Yeah, no. Interestingly, the hypothalamus and amygdala are also responsible for mood disorders like depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lack of grey matter in the hypothalamus and amygdala. So, in my case, that kind of makes a lot of sense. That I already. Well, it's interesting that the same centers were responsible for my mental illness and for my porn addiction.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, you could tell if you had depression before, you can tell that this for sure probably was not fucking helping you. Masturbated porn all the time, like, only exacerbated it. And it also controlled things like sleep regulation and body temperature and stuff. I swear I get sweatier after orgasms, like for 24 hours. I swear to God.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you? It's a lot of work, isn't it?
For 24 hours, though? I mean, maybe.
24 hours? Wait. So, like, seriously?
I honestly, I mean, I always hate saying stuff like this because it's so easy to, like... I do feel slightly moodier after having orgasms sometimes, and I for sure feel sweatier after having orgasms. But it's probably the weirdest thing I've ever said.
But at this point you've been totally disconnected from porn for forever. So this is just after normal, healthy human sexual activity.
Right. Yeah, well,
interesting.
Even though I've been disconnected for porn so long, kind of the idea for like these long-term rebooters who still have trouble with orgasms, even with a girlfriend, is that it just hasn't completely unwired in our brain yet because it's so ingrained. So like we have an orgasm, our brain still hasn't differentiated the difference between orgasm with our girlfriend and orgasm to porn because I was having like 20 orgasms a week to porn for like 7 years. So it kind of re-stimulates that, I guess, is just the unscientific way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But, so sometimes I still do, and I guess that's why the erections don't come back super fast afterwards. It's like probably something to do with that, I would guess. I don't know.
Who knows, man? It's such a fascinating unintentional experiment, isn't it?
It is.
That we were all exposed in our brain's most plastic years, and now we've figured it out, sort of become enlightened in a way at a time when our brain is no longer plastic. We're pruning back unused circuitry and strengthening things that we've used a lot.
Yeah.
So we're in a very delicate and fascinating kind of situation, and it is unfortunate that we've managed to put these ruts and grooves into our brain, and now our brains aren't nearly as plastic as they were. But what's it Nietzsche said? What doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, though. Honestly, I was talking to Gabe before the show. We did that one show with Gabe, and he was like, he was basically saying, like, think about it. We're like literally the pioneers of this, and the things we do, the accounts we put up on YBR, this radio show, anything we do, even like responding to posts to people, what everybody's doing in the community and stuff, and just being an active member of the forum is like so important. So important. I think it was like they calculated the novel views on YBR in March since January, and it was like 15 million or something like that. I mean, like
really?
So many people see this shit. Yeah, and I think novel views is calculated by a singular IP address, but So it could still be one person.
Yeah, one person on a million computers.
Yeah, it is insane though. It's crazy, and I'm sure it's at this point it's getting close to mid-August. 50 million views doesn't sound unreasonable to me, and it's only growing, so maybe more.
Jesus, titty fucking.
Christ.
I like this show. We're doing a little more adult show, but at the same time, it's for the children.
It's for it's for the kids.
Yeah,
it's for the kids.
Hey,
YBR is for the children.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
For the children.
I'm serious though.
It is. Yeah.
I feel. Oh man, I feel for the kids. The kids, like, we had it tough. We had it pretty tough, and our brains are all fucked up, and it's a whole big thing, and blah. But it's so much more potent and available and accessible and faster.
Yeah.
Now, just like Jesus. If you're a kid, if you're a 10-year-old, you're going to middle school, whatever, in this day and age, you can be surfing porn in class, sending it to your friends, and I bet they are.
I'm sure they are.
My second cousin, who is 6, has an iPad already.
Yeah, and I bet he watches porn on it.
Yeah.
I bet he Googles big jiggly boobies every day.
Yeah. Types in Google search real vagina. Pictures of vaginas.
Yeah, he gets a bunch of anatomical diagrams.
Yeah. I mean, it's even if he doesn't know, it's easy to stumble on fucking porn. I mean, I do it. No, I don't stumble on porn, but I stumble on, like, racy images all the time. Just like, even on fucking Facebook.
Yeah, because at this point, most of the population is so desensitized that they don't see that as even,
a big deal. Yeah.
Pornographic or arousing.
Yeah.
You see it all the time on Reddit. Somebody will occasionally mark something as not safe for work, and then in the comments, people are just like, "What is this, Victorian England? How is this not safe for work?" I'm like, dude, look at that. Her tits ain't out, but geez.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, even I go to BuzzFeed. It was like a week ago, and I was like going down BuzzFeed, just reading this thing from a link on Facebook, and then there's like in that little ad section that's always below and on the right, it's literally just some chick's ass, and I'm like, come on, like, is this for real?
Is this what we've come to?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is it necessary?
Because it gets clicks and people make money off the ad space on it.
Sex sells, Dan. Sex sells.
Sex sells.
And when it's free, it just gets clicked.
Okay, this is a funny story. It has nothing to do with porn addiction.
Let's do it.
Can I tell it? Okay.
Story.
So I work at this movie theater, right?
Uh-huh.
And this guy, we had this film festival, and there's this guy, and he's just there temporary, just for the film festival, but he works at like a sex toys shop, like, as his real job. And he was saying that, like, they let guys like take magazines into the booth and jerk off to them, right? They have like these booths, super weird.
Wait, they have booths dedicated to this purpose. This is not like guys sneaking in there. It's just like, all right, report to jerk off booth 3.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah, jerk off booth 3, like rent a space sort of shit. And so this
Would Willie Fapper please report to reception?
9-inch long hard on. Please go to room 1. Your magazine.
Clean up on aisle 3.
Yeah, oh, God, that'd be the grossest. But okay, so it was like close to closing time. This one guy went in, rented a booth, and he was in there, and they closed up shop apparently. And the next morning, they heard that the alarm went off in the middle of the night in this like shop, and they looked back at the security cameras, and this guy apparently just jerked off until he fell asleep in this booth and slept in this place overnight. Just asleep in this booth, and like wakes up at 7 a.m. before they even open, and he's probably just like, oh shit. Oh, what the hell happened? And he runs out of this place, and they see him just bolt out of this place. He didn't steal anything or anything like that.
Right. He just jerked himself unconscious.
Passed out. I know. Oh, God.
I'm gonna be looking for that story now. Maybe it'll show up on the forums. And it's just like, all right, guys, rock bottom. I woke up with my pants around my ankles in jerk off booth 3 at my local jerk offatorium.
Oh, God. I could just imagine seeing that security footage too, and seeing this guy with his pants around his fucking ankles, like getting up and like, oh shit, and, like just like running out of there.
That's the low point. Nobody wants to find themselves at that point.
Nobody wants to be that guy.
Mate, I'm sure all of us probably would have been that guy if we'd had the opportunity at one point in our lives.
I easily could have been that guy. I mean,
I could have been that guy.
Yeah, I feel.
See, look at how far we've come.
Yeah,
This is the thing, guys. If it wasn't for hyper internet porn, we would have been that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That guy's like me, except 40 years ago. Jerk off stalls. What is the appeal in that? I don't even understand it.
I think it's the orgasm, mate.
I guess, but is it like testing a car? Like you bring the magazine back, see what it does for you, and then grab the other one.
Yeah, who buys the magazine afterwards? Who jerks off and then goes and like, yes, I would like to purchase this now.
I don't know.
I need it for later.
God. Then they have to purchase it first, and then they go and wank.
Oh yeah, see that would make more sense because like after you come, don't you just? I mean, for me, I always look at whatever I'm looking at and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
100%. By the time, I was like,
there's no way that I would be incentivized to then like spend money upon it.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. Like, what happened in the days when you had to buy porn? Like,
can you imagine those poor suckers?
I remember my dad saying that he got a magazine when he was like 15, and that was like the best thing that ever happened to him. They had one porn magazine for like 5 years. Thing. Yeah, the best thing. Okay, maybe not that, but
like number 6 was, and then my son was born. But that magazine was sick.
Number 5 is the Playboy mag.
Yeah.
Have you told him?
I have not. I've been bitching out. I really want to. I just gotta man up.
Save it for your kid. It's him that really needs to know.
That's true. I mean, if you could tell anybody. I guess there's no reason why my parents shouldn't know at this point. I'm pretty sure my parents do know. I just got into grad school with the intent of examining and doing therapy for porn addiction.
I mean, think about it. At this point, what would you have to tell them? Mom, Dad, I don't look at porn. And I haven't for years.
Yeah, for like close to 2 years. Yeah.
This is going to be hard to hear, but I just don't do it.
They're going to be like, wow.
Mum and Dad, I've recovered from a very, very difficult thing to recover from.
Yeah.
I've got a girlfriend. It's really
don't give me all that porn.
Yeah. Yeah. When you guys put it like that too, there's really not that much. It's just so, my fear for it is so irrational. It's like, well, yeah, what? I looked at tons of porn and I stopped. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe in your head it's more like I have a problem with porn, but from where I'm standing, it would be I haven't looked at porn in over a year.
Yeah.
Coming up on 2 years. That's what it looks like from where I'm standing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there is just different viewpoints on it. The way I see it, which is true, I haven't looked at it in 2 years, but like I still suffer from the effects of it, so I'm like, not out of the thick yet. Not out of the thick. But I really am. I know I will never look at porn again. Yeah,
but bro, like I still occasionally like fall back on maybe like, I don't know if it really happens when I'm really stressed. Like I come up with, I find a picture. Well, I don't find it. I won't search for it, but like it will come up or something.
Yeah, you just start browsing all risky.
Start looking, don't you? Start clicking, but then you might like close it, and then you might use that image to have like, but like. That kind of happens to me occasionally, but I still say I don't use porn. I don't use it. Like, it's not something like it's happened to me like once, like in ages, and that was only because I was so fucking stressed out of my mind that you're gonna fall back on those kind of old habits anyway, and a lot of people do. But you literally, I don't think you even have you? So, like,
I don't think so.
You're even cleaner than me, man. Like, you're way cleaner than me. Like,
yeah, maybe I should just do it. Just be like, yo, Dad, I can't get it up. I looked at a shit ton of porn. Don't look at it anymore, though. So, sweet.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nice, you want a beer? I'd be like, absolutely.
Put away all that porn you were going to give me for my birthday, Dad. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I guess I gotta get rid of this hard drive. It just loaded up for you.
Oh my god, can you imagine all the shit that's on our old hard drives?
Oh, dude, yeah, that's what so I told my sister kind of that I was a porn addict, like, that had a problem with porn, and her first response was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Dad said you ruined our old family computer. The hard drive was full of porn, and I'm like, yeah, I did ruin that, didn't I? It was just so virused out, that computer.
Oh, fuck me, yeah.
Still feel bad about that. Christ.
Yeah, but look at you now. Doing great. You got your girlfriend. You guys both got girlfriends. Good on you. Feeling good. Feeling great.
I haven't anymore, bro.
Say what now?
I haven't got a girlfriend, bro.
Oh, you just got a girl that you fuck occasionally? That's cool.
Yeah,
That's very
it's
21st century of you.
I'll let you fuck occasionally.
Well, she lives about 300 miles away, 200 miles away, so it's quite hard to kind of meet.
Yeah, I understand.
How are you doing, man?
I'm feeling great. I got shit, man. I don't have time. It's really nice. Got my new job about a month ago, and I'm bartending now, which I couldn't do back in the day. I think I told you.
Yeah.
I was so afraid of people, so afraid of other humans that I bolted. I fled. I fled that job back when I was 21 because it was too nerve-wracking to interact with that many strangers.
I know the feeling.
But now I'm on like 7 days a week, and I'm kicking ass, and I'm making a bunch of money, and I've paid all my loans, so I'm debt-free, and I'm so busy working 7 days a week that I don't really have time to even have to fight. And I'm really liking being around people. It's night and day the way that it used to be back when I was oblivious and addicted versus now. It's amazing how much of a high you can get just having a friendly interaction with a girl or with just anybody. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's good to hear. Do you have any, are you doing anything particular rebooting-wise? You're, trying to stay away from orgasms or anything? You just kind of, forget about it?
I'm very much forgetting about it. I haven't been on the forum in who knows how long. Pretty much my involvement as a rebooter or a fapstronaut, it's this show.
Yeah.
And I make time for this show, but beyond that, it's all about work now. I only have time to work and sleep.
That's awesome, though. Yeah. You're living life.
Well, I'm digging it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I mean, yeah, like you said earlier when you were talking about how you just liked being around girls, like when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, girls, they were always fucking terrifying to me. But now, I get it. I just like being around them. They make me feel all good and shit.
I feel the same, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you can kind of think on that kind of subtle emotional level that you didn't have when you were kind of numb to shit. When you had all that porn thoughts in your head constantly, and all you could think about was, all you could really see them as was sex objects.
Exactly.
Now you connect with them on a level.
Yeah, it used to be that it was constantly, there was this scoreboard, and anytime I was talking to a girl, I was A, terrified, and B, wondering, am I doing good? Do you think she's going to let me fuck her? Or am I fucking up? And when it's that kind of bipolar thing, it's so
too much
hard
pressure.
to have a real interaction.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a lot more playful.
You never had any idea how you were doing because you really didn't know.
Yeah.
I remember I just didn't have any idea how I was doing with women in a conversation. I'd just try and blag it and just try and see what happened.
Yeah. If you make them laugh, it's good. That was my only rule.
Right. It was always an objective focused thing. Now it can be something where it's actually a give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I get it. Like now I can talk to a girl, and I don't give a shit if they want to sleep with me or not. It's not even about that. It's I don't even want to sleep with them if I don't connect with them. So, frankly, it's not just me begging them for sex. It's I'm trying to see if they're suitable for me too. It's not just it's not one way at all. It's
right. You actually open up for them to give a little bit of themselves.
Yeah, so I want to know that this girl is someone who I want to connect with, not someone I just like. Where's the joy in fucking someone just like that without any connections? No, there's no point. So it's like it's not just about sex at all. It's about connection. And if you don't connect with someone, then that's fine. I'll be like, okay, never mind about that conversation. Like we're clearly not like I just didn't really get on with her very well or whatever. But I don't think, oh, it's all me and it's because I'm this and I'm that. It's like, no, like, she's cool, I'm cool, we're just not compatible.
Exactly.
And it's like,
yeah.
I just move on. I just move on and get on with my life and then chat with the next person that comes along if I want to. You know, and it's like, that's like an attitude you should be having, just like easy going, go with the flow, like what comes, and don't think, I have to, you know, like try and score this girl. Cause that's like,
not having that mission.
Yeah.
It's, oh man, it'll grok you up.
Exactly, man. Just whatever.
Just whatever, dude.
Just go with whatever, man. although I have to admit, still, Fugu, you were talking about your only objective was to make her laugh.
Right.
I gotta say, if you do make her laugh, holy shit, that's far more satisfying. The other night I was talking with this girl and I realized that just telling a joke, having her laugh at it, that's more satisfying than my entire history on a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Fuck, yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Shit.
But I'm just loving it because I feel like it's a lot of subsystems that were dormant. They've come back online. And I feel like I'm functioning on a much better level than I was 3 years ago. 3 years ago I was a mess. Scared of people, terrified of girls, couldn't talk to them.
Yep.
And now it's all gone. It all faded. So feeling good. I'm not quite at your level, man. I'm not 2 years out, but fuck, it kind of feels like it.
Who cares? If you're feeling good, then there's nothing to worry about. I mean, that's all what at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, ain't it?
Exactly. Little inner peace. Maybe fix the erections along the way.
Yeah. It was never my issue, though. It was a sensitivity issue.
The delayed ejaculation or whatever.
Yeah, it was DE, not PE or ED. All those acronyms.
We should make a rap song, man. The DE to the PE. Oh shit.
Oh yeah, look, that sounds like
Yeah.
that sounds like a gold mine for some rap lyrics.
To the DE to the PI.
I'll get working on it. I'll make a beat.
Okay, we are close. We are over an hour.
Right, I need to go.
I do too. I gotta work in an hour.
Gentlemen.
Gotta study.
Yeah, this was good shit. I want to get more regular with this. So
definitely.
We will. We'll talk about it off air, I guess.
Yeah, off air.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear our logistics.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that. But hopefully we'll get some guests next time. So, or one guest, and that would be great. I really want to do that.
Stay tuned next week for the Wu-Tang Clan helping us write our hip-hop song about ED, DE, and PE.
DE to the PIED. Yeah, so that was that.
Sex moves everything around me. Cream, get the cream.
Sex moves everything around me. All right, so I'll just say goodbye, I guess. Thanks for
Adios, amigos. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
See you later, gentlemen.